Walk into any Rolex authorized dealer today. Display cases are mostly empty. A few two-tone Datejusts nobody wants. Zero steel sports models. The salesperson will smile and put you on a list that might take 3 years. What they won't tell you? Those watches you can't buy are already being sold somewhere else. Right now, brand new Rolexes with factory seals are changing hands in bulk deals worth millions. Some get relabeled, some get destroyed, and the whole system is designed to keep you paying more. This is what happens behind the dealer lot when luxury watches don't sell. The allocation game. How dealers get stuck. The luxury watch industry runs on a dirty secret. Authorized dealers don't get to choose what they stock. Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Patek Philippe, every major brand operates the same way. They force dealers to buy in bundles. Want 10 steel Submariners that'll sell in a day? Great. You also have to take 20 precious metal Datejusts with pink diamond dials. Watches that are too big for most women, too feminine for most men. Dealers have to pay upfront before they even know which specific models they're getting. No cherry picking, no returns. You buy what the brand sends you, or you lose your authorized dealer status. This creates a massive problem. Popular models like the Steel Daytona, the GMT Master II Batman, the Submariner, they disappear instantly. But the less desirable pieces, they sit for months, sometimes years. A Datejust with a champagne dial and Roman numerals might be beautiful. Yet, if nobody in your market wants it, you're stuck with $30,000 of inventory gathering dust. And that's a problem. Dealers need cash flow. They have rent, staff, insurance. They can't have all that money tied up in watches nobody's buying. So what happens to these brand new watches when months turn into years and the display cases stay full of inventory nobody wants? Option 1. The gray market. Most unsold watches end up in the same place, the gray market. It's the industry's worst kept secret and biggest taboo. Authorized dealers quietly offload their slow-moving inventory in bulk to non-authorized resellers. These gray market dealers buy at steep discounts, often 20 to 50% off MSRP for entire batches. The gray dealers then sell these watches online through platforms like Chrono, 24, and Jomashop. These aren't shady operations. They're legitimate websites with professional operations, customer service, and years of track records. The watches they sell are brand new, with factory seals intact. Full boxes, papers, everything you'd get from an authorized dealer. Sometimes the gray market watch comes with a full manufacturer warranty transferred to the new owner. Sometimes it's a partial warranty. Sometimes the gray dealer offers their own warranty to replace the voided manufacturer one. This is how the gray market accounts for roughly 20% of all luxury watch sales globally over $5,000. That's billions of dollars moving through unofficial channels every single year. The brands absolutely hate this reality. They'd genuinely rather destroy inventory than see it sold at discount. Because once consumers realize they can buy the exact same brand new watch for 30% less from a gray dealer with professional service and guarantees, why would anyone pay full retail and wait 3 years? This is why brands fight the gray market tooth and nail. Rolex has even created a strategy to wipe them out by creating their own version of the gray market, the certified pre-owned market, and that's not all. Rolex has strict contracts. Authorized dealers who get caught selling to the gray market risk losing their dealership entirely. The penalties are severe. Loss of allocation, termination of authorized dealer agreements, potential legal action. These aren't idle threats. Yet, it keeps happening. Because dealers have no other choice when they're sitting on several $100,000 in unsold inventory and need to make payroll. Dealers are as smart as the brands they work with. To not risk breaking contracts, dealers sell to intermediaries who sell to gray dealers. They package popular watches with unpopular ones in bulk deals that look like normal business transactions. They use shell companies and international transfers to obscure the paper trail. Here's where it gets really interesting. The brands know this is happening. They absolutely know authorized dealers are feeding the gray market. In some cases, Brands are quietly participating themselves to move inventory without officially discounting through proper channels. Regional managers turn blind eyes. Corporate offices pretend not to notice when inventory mysteriously vanishes from dealer records. Everyone benefits from the gray market existing, even as they publicly condemn it. The inefficiency is staggering. According to industry reports, the gray market grew 100%, doubled between measurements in the mid-20s compared to recent years. During economic downturns when luxury spending shrinks, the gray market grows even faster as more inventory needs emergency exits. Why does this matter to you as a buyer? Because that exclusive Rolex Submariner you're on a 3-year waiting list for might be available right now from a gray dealer. Same watch. Lower price for some models, premium price for others. No 3-year wait. No relationship building. No buying watches you don't want to prove loyalty. Just the watch you want. Available today for a price set by actual market demand rather than artificial scarcity. The catch? No manufacturer warranty from Rolex. Or technically, the warranty is voided the moment the watch leaves official channels. If something goes wrong with your watch, you're dealing with the gray dealer's service network, not Rolex's official service centers. Gray dealers typically offer their own warranties. 1 year, 2 years, sometimes 3. They have relationships with independent watchmakers who can service luxury watches. Some gray dealers have better service reputations than authorized dealers. For many buyers, that's a trade-off worth making, especially when the alternative is waiting years for permission to spend your own money while proving your loyalty by buying watches you don't actually want. The gray market exists because the official system is broken. It's a free market response to artificial scarcity and inflated pricing. Brands hate it. Authorized dealers secretly depend on it. And buyers increasingly prefer it. That's not going to change until brands fundamentally rethink how they distribute luxury watches. But not every deal goes to the gray market for watches they can't sell. This brings us to the next option. Option 2. Kept in stock indefinitely. Some dealers take a different approach. They simply hold onto unsold inventory forever. For brands like Rolex with strong demand, this strategy can work. Less popular references sit for 1, 3, 5 years as new until the right buyer eventually appears. Dealers service these watches periodically to keep them pristine. Polish the crystal, check the movement, maintain the seals. The watch might be 5 years old from the manufacture date, but it's still technically new and unworn. Rolex rarely dumps stock. Their scarcity model means they don't face the same pressure as other brands. Even discontinued models can sit in dealer inventory for years without creating a crisis. For the dealer, this is expensive patience because they've locked up capital in those shelves. But if you're a Rolex authorized dealer, you probably have enough turnover on the hot models to sustain carrying the slow ones. The problem is space. Display cases have limited real estate. Every spot taken by a pink diamond Datejust is a spot that can't hold a steel GMT that would sell immediately. Dealers get creative. They'll move slow inventory to the back, keep it in the safe, show it only when specifically requested. It's there, technically available, but not taking up prime display space. For other brands without Rolex's cachet, holding inventory indefinitely isn't viable. They need to move products, which brings us to the more aggressive solutions. Option 3. Certified, pre-owned. Rolex made a major move in recent years. They bought Boucherer, one of the largest authorized dealer networks in Europe. Then they launched certified pre-owned programs. The strategy is clever. Rolex buys back unsold or returned inventory from dealers. They overhaul the watches in-house, certify them, and resell them through official channels as certified pre-owned. This accomplishes several goals. They control the secondary market. They reduce gray market leakage. They reabsorb inventory that would otherwise sit on dealer shelves or end up sold at discount. The watches are serviced, authenticated, and come with a 2-year Rolex warranty. For buyers, it's almost as good as buying new. For Rolex, it's a way to clean up their distribution network without admitting they overproduced. Other brands are exploring similar programs. Cartier through Richemont, Omega through Swatch Group channels. The catch? Certified pre-owned watches aren't necessarily cheaper than new ones. Dealers have compared prices and found CPO Rolexes selling at or near full retail. So it's not really about making watches more accessible. It's about controlling the narrative and preventing unauthorized discounting. Rolex excluded watches under 3 years old from the CPO program. That means brand new flips still hit the gray market. The CPO program targets older inventory that's been sitting too long. For dealers, it's a lifeline. They can offload watches that won't move, get some cash back, and let Rolex deal with the resale. For buyers, it's just another hoop to jump through in a system designed to make you wait. And now we get to the dark side, the part the industry desperately doesn't want you to know. Option 4. Destruction. Some brands would rather destroy unsold inventory than let it sell at discount. Richemont, the Swiss conglomerate that owns Cartier, IWC Schaffhausen, Jaeger-LeCoultre, Piaget, Vacheron Constantin, and Montblanc, destroyed nearly 500 million euros worth of watches over 2 years, bought them back from dealers, and dismantled them. Not sold at discount to budget-conscious buyers, not donated to charity auctions, not even kept in storage warehouses waiting for markets to recover. Destroyed. According to their 2018 earnings reports, they bought back 203 million euros worth of unsold watches in 2017 alone. On top of the 278 million euros of primarily Cartier watches they reclaimed from jewelers in 2016. The official justification? Long-term brand equity. Corporate speak for, "We'd rather destroy perfectly functional luxury watches than see them sold on the gray market at prices that might make consumers question why they're paying $20,000 retail for a watch worth $5,000. In parts, Richemont's chief financial officer Burkhart Grund explained the strategy with remarkable candor. "We don't believe that having our inventory in the gray market will help long-term brand equity, so that's why we bought it back. If consumers see Cartier tanks selling for $12,000 on Chrono 24 when authorized dealers charge $20,000, the brand loses its luxury mystique. Better to eliminate the watches entirely than allow that pricing reality to exist in the marketplace." The destruction happened primarily in Asian markets, where luxury watch sales collapsed dramatically. Hong Kong saw sales plummet 25% in 2016 alone. China's government cracked down on corruption, and suddenly the massive market for expensive watches used as bribes to curry favor with government officials evaporated overnight. Dealers across Asia were stuck with mountains of unsold inventory. Richemont's former CEO, Richard Lepay, who initiated the buyback program before retiring, described it as an exceptional measure in exceptional circumstances. The company feared this inventory would flood the gray market internationally and permanently destroy pricing power across all regions. So they systematically bought it all back at cost from their retail partners and dismantled every watch. Trolled luxury brands in the world. The way the company sells and distributes its watches is not random or open to everyone. Instead, Rolex has always used a selective global retail strategy designed to protect its brand and deliver a consistent experience wherever a customer shops. This strategy affects authorized dealers, flagship boutiques, and how customers around the world find and buy Rolex watches. Rolex's selective distribution means it chooses carefully where its watches are sold. It does not sell through ordinary retail stores or mass-market shops. Instead, it relies on authorized dealers and flagship boutiques that meet strict standards for presentation, service, and training. This helps Rolex preserve the image of rarity and desirability that its watches have built over decades. Customers who enter these stores are meant to feel like they are part of an exclusive experience, not just a routine retail transaction. In recent years, this retail strategy has been evolving in many markets. One clear change has been how Rolex manages its authorized dealer network globally. Luxury depends entirely on scarcity and exclusivity, not actual scarcity, manufactured scarcity. If too many watches pile up at discounted prices in unauthorized channels, consumers stop believing the brand is actually luxurious. They see it as just another expensive product with inflated pricing. Once that perception shifts, you can't reverse it. Brands that lose luxury positioning rarely recover it. Better to destroy €500 million worth of inventory than risk destroying the brand itself. Rolex doesn't typically engage in destruction at this scale. As a foundation-owned company with different organizational incentives and much stronger demand for their products, they prefer controlled reallocation and certified pre-owned programs. Their watches hold value better. Less inventory sits unsold for extended periods. Yet Rolex absolutely understands why Richemont made this decision. Everyone in the industry understands. The gray market is called the industry's cancer by Jean-Claude Biver, former head of LVMH's watch division. Not because it's illegal or fraudulent, but because it exposes the gap between manufactured scarcity and actual market demand. Brands will go to extreme lengths to fight that exposure, including setting fire, metaphorically and sometimes literally, to €500 million worth of perfectly functional luxury timepieces. The destruction continues. Richemont's approach to the gray market remains uncompromising, according to Chairman Johann Rupert. When faced with a choice between allowing market forces to set prices or maintaining artificial luxury positioning through inventory destruction, luxury brands choose destruction every time. That's the cost of exclusivity. Not just what you pay. What gets destroyed so you keep paying it. But there is a less dramatic option. Option 5. Regional arbitrage. Different markets have different demands. A rose gold dress watch that won't sell in New York might move to Dubai. A sporty chronograph sitting in Hong Kong could find a buyer in London. Brands and dealers use regional arbitrage to clear inventory. They reallocate watches to lower demand markets where pricing pressure is less intense. Sometimes they even ship to markets with lower VAT, making the math work better. Gray dealers exploit this ruthlessly. They buy watches in countries with favorable pricing, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand, and resell them in higher-priced markets like the US and Europe. The same watch costs different amounts depending on where you buy it, not because of currency fluctuation, but because of intentional regional pricing strategies. A gray dealer can buy a watch in Asia for significantly less than US retail, import it, sell it below US retail, and still make healthy margins. For the brand, this is a nightmare. They set regional prices deliberately to maximize profit in each market. Gray dealers undermine that by arbitraging the differences. In downturns, the situation gets worse. When consumer demand drops, gray dealers stop buying inventory. Authorized dealers get stuck holding watches they can't sell and can't offload. That's when brands step in with buyback programs, or destruction campaigns, or just accept the losses. Some dealers try selling to outlet stores or international wholesalers, but once a luxury brand appears in outlets, the damage to brand equity is severe. Consumers wonder why they're paying full retail when the same brand sells at outlets for 60% off. It's a race to the bottom that brands desperately try to avoid. All of this inefficiency, all this waste, all these games, it gets baked directly into the price you pay. The real cost. What this means for you. When Rolex forces authorized dealers to buy bundles of watches nobody wants alongside the models everyone wants, those dealers need to make their money back somewhere. The steel Submariner you're paying $9,800 for? Part of that price isn't the watch. It's subsidizing the 10 precious metal Datejusts sitting unsold in the safe. So when a Daytona finally arrives and you're allowed to buy it, the price reflects not just that watch's manufacturing cost and reasonable markup, but also the cost of carrying all that dead inventory the brand forced the dealer to buy. You're paying for inefficiency you didn't create. When Richemont destroys €500 million worth of watches over 2 years, those losses don't vanish. They get absorbed through the entire pricing structure. Future production costs more because past production got destroyed. The Cartier tank you buy at full retail in 2026 is more expensive, partially because they destroyed millions of euros worth of Cartier tanks in 2016 and 17, rather than sell them at discount. Every destroyed watch is a loss that future customers subsidize. When gray dealers buy inventory at 50% off and resell at 75% of retail, that 25% discount has to come from somewhere. It comes from the authorized dealer who sold it. The dealer took a 50% loss to clear the inventory. To recoup those losses, they raise prices on other watches or demand higher allocations of hot models from the brand to offset the dead inventory. The entire system is circular. Brands create artificial scarcity. Dealers get stuck with unsold inventory trying to meet brand quotas. Gray markets emerge to clear that inventory. Brands fight gray markets through pricing controls, destruction programs, and dealer penalties. Those costs flow back to authorized retail pricing. Consumers pay higher prices to subsidize the inefficiency. The luxury watch market is wildly inefficient by design. Brands actively want inefficiency because it creates scarcity. They manufacture it by controlling supply, forcing dealers to hold slow-moving inventory, and punishing anyone who tries to use market pricing. The gray market exists because of this intentional dysfunction. It's not some criminal underworld selling stolen goods. It's a natural market response to artificial scarcity and inflated pricing that doesn't reflect actual supply and demand. 20% of all luxury watches sold globally go through unauthorized channels. That's not a niche problem. That's not a bug in the system. That's a fundamental feature of how broken luxury watch distribution actually is. For you as a buyer, it creates bizarre and frustrating situations. You can wait 3 years to buy a watch at retail from an authorized dealer who makes you prove your loyalty by buying other watches you don't want. Or you can buy the exact same watch today from a gray dealer and save thousands of dollars on some models or pay a premium on others depending on demand. The authorized dealer will tell you gray market watches are risky, warranties void, might get scammed, counterfeits everywhere. Buy from us. Wait patiently. Prove yourself worthy. Some of that caution is legitimate. The counterfeit watch market is sophisticated. You absolutely need to buy from reputable gray dealers with proven track records, customer protections, and authentication guarantees. Due diligence matters. But the fundamental truth is this: most gray market watches are completely genuine. They came from authorized dealers who needed cash flow. They're the exact same watches you'd buy at retail, just without the artificial scarcity performance theater. Many gray dealers offer warranties comparable to manufacturer warranties. They have relationships with excellent independent watchmakers who can service luxury watches expertly. Some gray dealers have better customer service reputations than authorized dealers. The industry hates that you know this. They hate that information flows freely now. They hate that buyers can comparison shop and see that the emperor has no clothes. A $20,000 watch doesn't cost $20,000 to make. It costs maybe $1,500 to $3,000 in materials and highly skilled labor. The rest is brand markup, distribution costs, dealer margins, and luxury positioning. When that same watch sells for $12,000 through gray channels, it's still profitable for everyone involved. The parts cost hasn't changed. The brand already got paid when the authorized dealer bought it. The authorized dealer recovered some cash clearing inventory. The gray dealer makes profit on the spread. The buyer gets the watch cheaper than retail. The only loser is the artificial scarcity illusion. That's what you're really paying for at authorized retail. Not the watch. The illusion that it's rare, exclusive, special. That only worthy people get selected to buy it. Once you see through that illusion, the entire system looks different. But Rolex still has a bit of the mystique. Why Rolex is different? Rolex occupies a unique position. Their demand vastly exceeds supply for popular models. They don't have the same inventory problems as other brands. Yet they participate in the same system. They force dealers to buy bundles. They maintain strict controls over pricing and distribution. They've bought Boucherer to gain more control over the secondary market. The difference? Rolex steel sports models trade above retail on the gray market. A Submariner no date costs around $9,800 at retail. On the gray market, $12,600, a 28% premium. The GMT Master 2 Batman is even more extreme. $11,500 retail. Gray market price? $17,500, a 52% premium. This completely flips the normal dynamic. Instead of watches selling below retail on the gray market, Rolex sports models sell above retail. The gray market isn't undermining their pricing, it's inflating it. That's intentional scarcity working exactly as designed. Rolex produces fewer watches than the market wants. Authorized dealers get tiny allocations. Buyers who do get watches often flip them immediately to gray dealers for profit. The authorized dealer loses the sale to a flipper. The flipper makes $5,000 instantly. The gray dealer sells it for a premium and makes another profit. The end buyer pays 50% more than retail. Rolex wins because their brand equity goes up. The harder it is to buy, the more people want it. Everyone else is just playing in the system Rolex created. And let's tell you how the system works. The allocation crisis. Why you can't buy what you want. Let's talk about what this actually means when you walk into an authorized Rolex dealer with money in your account ready to buy. You want a steel Daytona with the white dial, classic, iconic. The list price is around $14,800 according to current retail. You have the money. You're ready to hand over your credit card right now. The dealer will smile sympathetically and explain they don't have one. They haven't had one in months. They don't know when they'll get one. They'll offer to add you to an interest list, not a waiting list anymore. Rolex officially eliminated those. Just an interest list where your name goes into some system with zero transparency about when you might actually get a call. Current wait times for a Daytona, 18 to 36 months is typical. Some people wait longer, much longer. It depends entirely on your relationship with the dealer and their subjective assessment of whether you're a good customer. Have you bought other Rolex watches from them before? Have you spent money building a purchase history? Are you known to the sales staff? Do they consider you likely to actually wear the watch rather than immediately flip it to a gray dealer for profit? First-time buyers often get pushed toward less desirable models. Two-tone Datejusts with champagne dials, precious metal day dates. Watches the dealer actually has in inventory because they've been sitting there for months with no buyers. The pitch is subtle. While you're waiting for the Daytona allocation, why not consider this beautiful day date? Solid gold. Timeless design. I can sell you this one today. If you buy it, you've now spent $35,000 on a watch you didn't really want. But you've also established a relationship. You've proven you're a serious customer. Maybe in 2 years, when a Daytona comes in, they'll remember you favorably. Maybe. This is relationship-based selling masquerading as fair allocation. Dealers have complete discretion over who gets what watches. They'll tell you allocations are based on waiting lists and first come, first served. That's largely fiction. Your wait time depends on how much money you've spent building goodwill with that specific authorized dealer. It's pay to play with extra steps and no guarantees. Meanwhile, the exact Daytona you want with the white dial is available right now on Chrono24 from 3 different gray market dealers. Price: $23,000 to $26,000, depending on condition and dealer reputation. That's roughly a 60% premium over retail. Expensive? Absolutely. But it's available today. No waiting, no relationship building. No. Buying watches you don't want to prove loyalty to a dealer who might consider you worthy of buying the watch you actually want. The authorized dealer will earnestly warn you about gray market risks if you mention considering that route. They'll say warranties are voided. You might get a counterfeit if you're not careful. Gray dealers aren't reliable. You're better off wading through proper channels. What they absolutely won't tell you is that their store probably sold inventory to gray market dealers last quarter to clear slow-moving precious metal models. The gray market they're warning you about? They're participants in it when it benefits them. The whole system is designed to make you feel grateful when you're finally allowed the privilege of spending $14,800 on a watch that's been artificially constrained to create the waiting list in the first place. Rolex could produce more steel Daytonas, They choose not to. The scarcity is manufactured deliberately to maintain pricing power and luxury positioning. For buyers, it creates an impossible situation. Wait years and jump through hoops for the honor of paying retail, or buy the same watch today for a premium from channels that brands publicly condemn but privately feed with their unsold inventory. Most people just want to buy a watch they like. The luxury watch industry has turned that simple transaction into a multi-year relationship-building exercise with uncertain outcomes. That's not a feature. That's a flaw in the system that benefits brands at buyers' expense. But the market is shifting. Wait times at authorized dealers have decreased slightly. Gray market premiums for some models have softened. Inventory is improving in some regions, and that's not all. The future. What's changing? Brands are adapting. More certified pre-owned programs, more direct-to-consumer sales, more boutique-only models to cut dealers out entirely. Audemars Piguet and Richard Mille are moving to boutique-only distribution. They're eliminating the authorized dealer network entirely to gain complete control over inventory and pricing. Rolex bought Bucherer for similar reasons. Vertical integration. Control the entire chain from manufacture to sale to resale. The gray market isn't going anywhere. As long as brands manufacture artificial scarcity, there will be buyers willing to pay premiums for immediate access and dealers willing to offload inventory outside official channels. 20% of the market moving through gray channels represents billions in annual sales. That doesn't disappear because brands dislike it. What might change is transparency. Buyers are getting smarter. They understand the game. They're less willing to wait years to spend tens of thousands of dollars. Brands that adapt to direct sales, honest pricing, and meeting demand will win. Brands that cling to artificial scarcity will face increasing pressure from gray markets and consumer frustration. Rolex will probably be fine. Their brand is strong enough to weather anything. But smaller luxury brands? They're in a fight for survival as consumers figure out the system is rigged. Now you know what happens to new watches that never sell? What do you think? Is the gray market the villain or the hero in this story? Have you bought from a gray dealer or waited years for an authorized dealer allocation? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this made you rethink how luxury watches actually work, hit that like button and subscribe. We dig into the real stories behind the watch industry, the stuff they don't want you to know.